Welcome to your deep dive. We've gotten some really fascinating articles from you about NVIDIA.
Yeah.
And, I always thought of them as that company behind those awesome gaming graphics.
Right.
But it sounds like they're doing way more these days.
Oh, yeah.
So are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Get ready to see NVIDIA in a whole new light.
Okay.
This is about how they went from pixels on a screen to shaping the future of AI, really.
Okay, so the article mentions they started with computer graphics, specifically for gaming.
Right.
Which makes sense, but how on earth did they go from there to AI? It seems like a huge leap.
You're right. It was a huge leap. And the key was something called general purpose graphics processing, or as it's more commonly known, GPGPU.
Okay.
And essentially before that, imagine needing to speak a graphics card's language to do like complex scientific calculations. That's kind of what it was like before.
That sounds so complicated, like trying to order, I don't know, a pizza influent emoji?
Exactly. You got it.
Yeah.
But then in 2007, NVIDIA introduced this thing called CUDA.
Okay.
And CUDA you can almost think of as like a translator
Okay.
between like regular programming and the language of GPUs.
Right.
And suddenly, engineers could unlock the power of these GPUs to do all sorts of tasks, not just rendering images anymore.
Oh, okay. That analogy makes a lot more sense. So instead of just making pretty pictures, GPUs could do like the heavy lifting for things like artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets really interesting because, training a massive artificial neural network, which is basically a program that learns like the human brain.
Right.
Kind of like teaching a child to recognize objects,
Yeah.
Before CUDA, it was like teaching one thing at a time.
Okay, I'm picturing like flashcards for AI, like one card, one object.
Exactly.
Very slow going.
Very slow. But CUDA allowed for this thing called parallel processing. So essentially teaching this AI, this network, multiple things simultaneously.
Oh.
So we're talking a massive speed up. We're talking going from years to like days or even hours for certain tasks.
That's incredible. No wonder people started paying attention.
Yeah.
But how did NVIDIA specifically become like the big player? Was it just being in the right place at the right time?
It was more than that.
Yeah.
They really saw the potential of AI early on.
Okay.
And they made some really smart moves. One of the key things was just investing heavily in research and development, like constantly pushing the boundaries of what these GPUs could do.
So they weren't just like keeping up with the AI boom.
Yeah.
They were actively creating the tools to power it.
Exactly.
Wow.
And one of the things they created is this thing called a tensor core,
A tensor core.
which is like a specialized processing unit inside their GPUs.
Oh, okay.
It's like having a dedicated lane on a highway just for AI calculations.
Okay, so tensor cores are like turbochargers for AI, making everything even faster.
Exactly. And they're designed specifically for the kind of math that AI relies on.
Okay.
Makes a huge difference in performance.
That's incredible. So we're talking about way more than just better graphics for gamers.
Right.
This is enabling a whole field,
Yeah.
like to advance at like warp speed.
Exactly.
But tell me more about this AlexNet that the article mentioned.
Yeah.
What was so special about that?
So AlexNet was a pivotal moment.
Okay.
This was one of the earliest AI systems to actually use GPUs.
Okay.
And it achieved record-breaking accuracy in image recognition.
Wow.
We're talking a computer recognizing pictures with greater accuracy than ever before.
So this was like the proof
Yeah.
that NVIDIA's technology was like the real deal.
It was a defining moment that showed the world what was possible with these GPUs and AI.
Oh, wow.
And this breakthrough just fueled the demand for even more powerful GPUs, a demand that, luckily, NVIDIA was ready to meet.
So they were already ahead of the game. This is already sounding like a wild ride, and we're just getting started. So they had these super-powered GPUs.
Yeah.
But did they totally leave, like, the gaming world in the dust? What happened to that side of NVIDIA?
It's funny you should ask that because they actually found a way to bring those AI advancements, like full circle.
Really?
Yeah. Remember like those incredibly realistic lighting effects and those lifelike character movements you see in games these days? A lot of that is powered by AI.
Oh, wow.
Specifically, this thing called real-time AI rendering, which NVIDIA is putting a lot of their money on, I guess, investing in heavily.
So you mean like when a character's hair moves naturally, or like the way light reflects off water in a game?
Exactly.
It's amazing how realistic it looks.
Yeah, and that level of realism just wasn't possible before this real-time AI rendering.
Okay.
Games used to have to rely on these pre-rendered animations and effects, but now with AI And specifically with NVIDIA's tech, those visuals can be generated like right then and there in the moment, reacting to like, your actions in the game.
That's mind-blowing. So not only are they like powering AI advancements across all these industries, but they're also using it to make like our gaming experiences even more immersive.
Exactly. It all goes back,
Wow. Speaking of those other industries, the article mentioned something about an industrial battle in the AI world.
Right.
What's that all about?
That's where things get, I think, even more interesting.
Okay.
Because NVIDIA isn't just competing in markets that already exist. They're actually helping to create totally new ones.
Wow.
This battle is really more of a race between companies like, the big ones you've heard of.
Yeah.
Microsoft, Google, all kind of vying for that top spot in the AI landscape.
NVIDIA is right there in the thick of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Their GPUs aren't just for gamers or scientists anymore. They are like literally the engines driving this whole AI revolution.
Wow.
Think about like the automotive industry, for example.
Okay.
Autonomous vehicles rely so heavily on AI for navigation, object detection, decision making.
So those self-driving cars we keep hearing about, those wouldn't even be possible without NVIDIA's technology.
It's a pivotal part of making it happen, yeah. And it goes way beyond just self-driving cars.
Okay.
Think about healthcare, where AI is now being used for things like medical imaging analysis and disease diagnosis, or finance, where AI algorithms are making these super complex trading decisions like in the blink of an eye.
Wow, this is so much bigger than I even imagined at first.
Yeah.
It's like NVIDIA's technology is like the foundation for a whole new technological like era. It's exciting, but it's also kind of intimidating.
Yeah.
Like a little bit.
It's true. It is a very transformative technology. It has very far-reaching implications.
Right.
And honestly, we are just scratching the surface of what's possible.
So what's next for NVIDIA? Like, where do they go from here?
Well, the thing about them is they just don't stop. They're continuing to like push the boundaries of AI hardware and software. They're investing in areas like quantum computing, which is like, whoa.
Quantum computing.
Yeah, which has the potential to like totally revolutionize, AI research and development.
Wow.
And they're also really focused on making AI more accessible to everyone.
More accessible. What does that mean exactly?
So they're creating these platforms and tools that allow smaller companies, startups, even just like individual people,
Wow.
to leverage all this crazy AI power without needing these massive computing resources that, only the big guys have.
Right, right.
It's about what they call democratizing AI.
Okay.
Making it available to like a much wider range of innovators.
That's a really interesting concept, democratizing AI. It makes you wonder what the implications of that will be, the possibilities, both good and. It is exciting, this idea that like anybody could have the power of AI. But you're right, it does make you wonder about, the other side of that.
It's like any powerful tool, really. It can be used for good.
Or it can be used for, not so good purposes.
Yeah.
So it's about responsible development and, being thoughtful about how we apply this technology.
So it's not just about making the most powerful AI.
Right.
It's about like building it the right way.
Exactly.
Making sure that it's used ethically and, for good.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't like accidentally cause harm.
Exactly. And that's a challenge that, honestly, it goes beyond just NVIDIA.
Right.
It involves everyone working in this field, from, the researchers developing these crazy algorithms to the policymakers who are trying to set these guidelines for how this stuff can be used.
It's true. It really feels like we're like standing at the edge of this whole new world, and NVIDIA is kind of leading the charge.
Yeah.
We talked about their journey from gaming to AI, their role in this like, industrial battle that's going on, and even their efforts to make AI more accessible to, everybody. It's a lot to take in.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
This field is just moving so fast.
It is. And the most exciting part is
What?
this is just the beginning.
It is. So as you go about your day today, think about this. What impact do you think NVIDIA's work in AI will have on your life, like in the next 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, it's a big question.
It is a big question, but that's what the deep dive is all about.
Exactly.
Thanks for exploring with us today.
Thanks for having me.